Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Today's video on the Angry Truths channel, we're going to talk about the Barbenheimer distraction. For some of you that might not know, this is an actual real term. I don't understand why, but nonetheless, I figured out over the weekend why this Barbenheimer, which is Barbie movie and Oppenheimer movie coming out on the same day, which is last Friday, why this is such a big distraction. So guys, upon looking at stupid videos upon stupid videos about the whole Barbie movie, I mean, listen, I get it that they were doing a Barbie movie, that it eventually was going to come out. I was actually intrigued by the concept of the Barbie movie when I saw the first trailer. I was like, all right, this could be funny. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it was going to be a comedy. But anyway, as the months go on, you start to find out that this movie is going to be really woke, the Barbie movie. And so for some reason, they opted to release the Barbie movie and the Oppenheimer movie on the same day. Now, Oppenheimer was a scientist, if you will, or a nuclear physicist that was a guy involved in creating the first atom bomb, right? So the whole story behind why they were looking to do it was against Germany. And, you know, of course, the Germans, Russians, and United States were all looking to develop the first major mass weapon of destruction. Anyway, that's what the movie Oppenheimer is about. It's about the whole, I guess, journey to creating the atom bomb and the dark side of it and the whole nine yards. So then they decide to release both these movies at the same time, which I never understood, because normally when you have two hits coming out, you'll offset one. One will come out the week before or the week after, or whatever it is. Nonetheless, they decided to release both movies on the 21st of July. So they started to coin this phrase, Barbenheimer or Barbieheimer, which is the competition of both movies coming out. So now this whole thing, guys, is playing itself all over the media. It's all over Instagram and Facebook. You got morons going to the Barbie movie dressed up like Ken or Barbie. You had a bunch of girls wearing pink. You had some dudes wearing pink. Obviously, they're gay. And then you had guys dressed up like Ken, which I saw very, very, very few guys doing that. Nonetheless, guys, this distraction of the Barbenheimer phrase, if you will, or event that was going on between Barbie and the Oppenheimer movie was all a distraction to take everybody's attention away from the movie Sound of Freedom. Now, Sound of Freedom, surprisingly, beat out Mission Impossible 7, I think it is, the last Mission Impossible movie. And it made $100 million. So it beat out Mission Impossible, and it's going to still beat out not still, but it's going to beat out the Barbie movie and the Oppenheimer movie. It is said to make 150 million either next week or the week after next, which is still going to blow those two movies out of the water. My point to bringing that up, guys, is that they're trying to divert people away from going to see the movie Sound of Freedom, because Sound of Freedom was actually bought out by Disney. Disney refused to release it, or was dragging their feet on releasing it. Then they sold it to Angel Studios. Now, the movie cost $14 million to make. The movie is on deck to make $150 million. Do the math. That's every movie studio's dream come true. Sort of like the Blair Witch Project. When that movie was first released, it was done on like a very low budget. I think it was like 100,000 or some craziness like that. And it wound up making millions of dollars, right? So this movie, Sound of Freedom, is doing the same thing. Now, Disney is like, oh shit, we screwed up. You know what, guys? Distraction. Let's do the Barbenheimer and put Oppenheimer versus the Barbie movie and do which movie is going, and we're going to see which movie is going to outdo one or the other. Now, clearly, guys, Oppenheimer is an intellect movie. It's a movie where you have to sit there and think and act. They actually use big words in this movie, whereas the Barbie movie is an idiot's movie. Now, it's okay to see idiots movies. It's okay to be entertained by idiots movies. But for the people I'm seeing online talk about the Barbie movie like it's the shit. Like, I don't understand in society today why we pit an intellect movie versus a non-intellect movie, an idiot's movie, the Barbie movie. Like, again, you want to, idiot out and lose brain cells watching it, by all means. I have my movies where I can do that as well. Like like Ratpocalypse. Some of you might not know the movie. Some of you heard my gripe about it. It is the world's worst movie ever made. Ever made. The worst. I don't even want to fucking get into it because it's just going to fucking piss me off. My point is that we all have our idiot movies that we like to watch and some that we like to suffer through. The Barbie movie is that, and especially that it's a woke crap movie. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they had a transgender Barbie in it. Seriously? And I think they had a gay Ken. And it was Barbie is trying to escape the patriarch of man and women empowerment, all in a Barbie movie. Instead of just making it a fun movie, they destroyed it with politics. They put politics in it. Now, Oppenheimer clearly isn't a political movie. It was about the atom bomb. You can't get away from that. But with Barbie, that was a movie where people wanted to escape the bullshit. But instead, they injected all of this woke crap right into it. So now the movie's pretty much ruined. And people, though it did great, the reviews are not that great. Go fucking figure, right? So while, guys, they're telling you about the Barbie movie and how much it made, they're not actually talking about the reviews of the movie. Then you have Oppenheimer, which they're talking about the reviews of the movie, and also how much money it made, which it made less than the Barbie movie. I think it made $83 million. Still fucking good. And the Barbie made over $100 million. But Sound of Freedom, which talks about sex trafficking or human trafficking, they're trying to shut that down. They're trying every avenue they possibly can to get us distracted away from that movie, and yet that movie still did good this weekend. But it was overshadowed by the Oppenheimer movie and the Barbie movie because that's all they kept pushing online. The liberals are actually fighting against a movie that's exposing human trafficking. So, of course, liberals are browbeating the Sound of Freedom. They're talking shit about it. They're saying how it's a superhero dad fantasy movie and what dads would do if they were in that position. Like, they are trying to beat the balls off of Sound of Freedom, and it isn't working because the movie's still making its money. Now, money is the least of the studio's problem. Not problem, but listen, it's great that they made their money back and then some, but they're more worried about the message getting out there. That's what Angel Studio stands for. If you look at a lot of their movies push messages as opposed to the money. Now, obviously, you need the money to make good movies, right? So one has to actually address the other. So being that Sound of Freedom is a good movie, and they got a couple of more movies in the tank coming out by Angel Studios, I can't wait to see those movies as well. But still, guys, my point is that they're trying to drown out this movie and get people away from the human trafficking. Because human trafficking, guys, is going to lead, that road or roads lead right back to Hollywood and leads right back to multiple politicians' homes. So they're trying to distract us as much as possible. This is why we're going to continue to push this movie, at least on this channel. I'm going to mention Sound of Freedom half a dozen fucking times until you guys get sick of it and or see it. This movie, Sound of Freedom, needs to be out. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on Sound of Freedom. This is just about how Hollywood is trying to distract us from the movie Sound of Freedom with their BS and their bullshit. Because again, guys, I don't understand how we are letting a movie as stupid as Barbie be the forefront of any movie. And again, to put it against a Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan movies are the shit. And they're intellect movies. Like, if some of you had a chance to see Tenet, you needed like fucking all your brain cells to see that movie to figure out what was going on, why it was going on, and how come it was going on. It took me, I had to stop and process each scene. I was like, what the fuck did they just say? And I'm sitting there going, dee-dee-dee-dee, my brain's melting and all this kind of shit. I'm like, I'm taking glucose and all kinds of shit to stay awake and try to keep up with the movie. The movie was awesome. Once you understand what Tenet is about, and Tenet is a really, it's a technical movie with a lot of science behind it, which is pretty cool. But anyway, that's a separate movie for you guys to watch if you're interested. Nonetheless, guys, Oppenheimer is about the American history and atom bomb. Barbie is about a chick trying to get away from a dude who can, by the way, winds up being the bad guy in the movie. So go figure, right? The picture of man, right? The blonde hair, the strapping body, the whole 9 yards. He's the evil guy. So again, movie was destroyed, but they're trying to take out our eyes off of Sound of Freedom. So do yourself a favor, guys. Fuck Barbie. I hate to say this. Fuck Oppenheimer, and go see Sound of Freedom. Then you can go back and see those two movies. But see Sound of Freedom first. If you haven't seen any movie in a long time, see Sound of Freedom first. Anyway, guys, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.